Keir Starmer says he wants a bonfire of red tape, and I say he's an idiot. Why am I quite so confident in my prediction? Because regulation exists for a purpose. That purpose is to deliver a number of benefits to society. One is to simply make sure that everyone is treated equally. And in fact, of all the benefits of regulation, this is by far the most important. If markets in this country are to work, everybody has to work to common rules. That is obvious, I would have thought. Starmer is a football fan. I follow football a bit. I know full well that if everybody plays to different offside rules, you would never have an effective game of football. You would just have a pile of fisticuffs, or, worse still, absolutely no chance of anyone completing a game and having a fair competition. That's what would happen if we got rid of regulation. Regulation that everybody must comply with, which in other words means it must be enforced, is what is necessary for fair competition to take place. Get rid of it, an unfair competition takes place. It is as simple as that. Who benefits? Well, two lots of people benefit. One are the cheats, and they will take advantage of any lack of regulation to abuse us by selling counterfeit goods, by not paying their taxes, by undermining honest traders, by employing people in ways that are illicit and which therefore would expose them to risk, and on and on. And the other group of people who will benefit will be large businesses who will find the loopholes in these regulations and walk their way through them. They will claim, of course, that their actions are entirely legitimate, just as they did with tax avoidance, which was a form of regulatory abuse. But nonetheless, just as tax avoidance created a cost to society, so will a burning of regulations do the same. But there's something much worse about the language that he used. David Cameron said he wanted a bonfire of red tape, and we know where that ended. Grenfell Tower was where that ended. People died because insufficient building regulations were in place. Ministers would not enforce them. They believed that for every regulation they brought in, they had to get rid of one. And the consequence was the terrible standards of cladding that were applied to that building, which cost people their lives. Regulation is essential to ensure that people are protected from abuse of all sorts. You can get rid of regulation, but what you do as a consequence is you transfer that risk. Regulation does not take risk away. Regulation manages risk. If the companies that create the risk don't accept the responsibility for it, which is what this burning of red tape would mean, then somebody else is going to bear that risk. And that's you, and that's me. And I don't want that, because I don't know about the risks that are being created in many of the products that I consume. And I'm quite certain you don't either. And that's why we require specialists to create regulations and to enforce them. A government that does not believe in regulation does not believe in doing its job properly. It's as simple and straightforward as that. And I know that sometimes that regulation will feel burdensome and annoying and everything else. Oh, I know that. I'm no greater lover of doing my tax return than anybody else. But I know darn well we need them to be done. And I know that that's true of all the other things where I have to comply with regulation to fulfill my duties when running a business. So why does Keir Starmer not know that? Is it because he and most of his colleagues have never really worked in the real world where they've had to accept responsibility for the enforcement of regulation? I think that is a real risk. And the rest is that they're blinded by dogma. They believe that a free market means one free of government interference. Well, a market free of government interference is not free to do anything but to abuse us. And that's what he's promoting. Thanks for watching this video. If you like what you've seen, please subscribe to this channel and push that bell button that tells you when we posted something new. You can also find me on Twitter at Richard J. Murphy. And more importantly, you can follow my blog, the Funding the Future blog. And if you do, you'll get daily updates on what is happening in our economy and in the politics that surround it.